morning. Hello,
Good
Dr.
morning,
Kiltz.
everyone. Hey, Chris. Hey, Ali. Nice to see you guys. Good morning, everyone from all around the world today. Let's see. We got Dr. Nelson on a plane to Charleston. Your lion is rocking and rolling, and I'm in Southern California, Irvine, on my way to Charleston today, and I'll be at the meetup in for Healing Humanity, Kiltz Health, sponsoring, supporting the Healthier Now movement.
That's awesome. There's tickets still
I am
available
words.
for that event.
What's that, Alia?
There's tickets still available for Charleston. So I'll just put that link in the chat in case anyone has any last minute plans to head there.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Where you at? What are you suffering from? And what are you looking to heal from? Right? Something like that. And Chris, where are you at in this world? And tell us a little bit about your mission in this world.
Yeah, so I'm from Ireland, Dublin, in Ireland. Yeah,
Nice.
the capital. Yeah, and my mission is like to help people. Like I noticed that my health was bad, and I wanted to improve it for myself first off, and then I want to help others as well. And I noticed that, like in my mid-20s, like I had a full-blown seizure, and then a second one in my like a year later, and the doctor said after the first one, oh, like it might be like epilepsy, but they didn't know. They wanted to see if I had another one, and then I had another one a year later, and then they diagnosed me with epilepsy in my mid-20s. And then I was looking into stuff. They gave me medication, and I was kind of already like, I don't like to take medication because I know there's certain side effects with medication. So I didn't really want to take like medication for it, but I started taking it anyway because I didn't know what the solution was at the time. And I heard a bit about eating like low carb, like the keto diet, because that helped many people with epilepsy for like over 100 years. Like so, but I didn't. I did like the John Hopkins and all, but I didn't want to. But then I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, carbs are necessary." Mainstream media say you need to eat a lot of carbs because carbs are necessary, it's your energy source and everything. Yeah. So I kept eating carbs and I didn't cut it out because of that, even though I heard a little bit in the background that like, oh, keto diet and all and low carb diets can help with epilepsy. I hadn't really heard anything much about carnivore then. I hadn't really looked into that at the time. And then I was getting, so the medication, they put me on medication and it helped with stopping me getting the full-blown seizures. It does help, but like I was still getting like petit mal seizures. I was getting a lot of petit mal seizures still, and then they had to change me on different medication. If anyone's watching, they might, if they know about like epilepsy, there's a lot of different types of medication, like Keppra, Lamictal, Xevonex, and so I was put on Keppra first, and then that didn't really help. And then they put me up on higher medication on like the Lamictal, and it kept kind of going up on medication. And as I said, it did stop me with the bigger seizures, although I did have a full-blown seizure about 6 or 7 years after that. Like I'm 38 at the time of this recording, at the time of this live, like, but unless someone watches it back later, then maybe at the time of this recording. But 38 now at the moment. But so I had the first full-blown seizure when I was 24, then the second one 25, and then I didn't have any until I was like 32. And then but that 32 was my own fault. Like was like because I said I'll stop the medication, I'll cut down the medication, but I wasn't following like a good diet. I wasn't following good habits. I just said I don't like taking medication, so I'll cut the medication. And then I had the full-blown seizure, and then I had another. And then I started taking the medicines again, like the higher dose again, and I had another one though, even with the medication. And I probably would have had more if I didn't take the medication. So it definitely helps. I'm not here to say that like anti-epileptic medication is a help, but then I heard about like the carnivore and the keto diet more, and I said I'll just try it. Like I'll give it a try. That like I cut the carbs way down, and because my mom was like sick at the time, she's passed away now, but like at the time she was sick, and she said to me, "Oh, your digestion is bad." And I was down to a diet of just like fruit and meat. So like there's a lot of influencers like Paul Saladino and all that would follow kind of that type of diet, like fruit and meat. So I said I'll leave in the fruit, because I thought I need some carbs, so I'll keep the fruit in. I heard about like plant toxins and all, but like about the anti-nutrients and all that. But I thought like that I need some fruit or something in the diet. So I kept that in, and I still having problems. The petit mal seizures where I'd see kind of like black in front of my eyes, or it's even the odd time I'd even talk random for about 10 seconds, and then I come back into like a zone out basically for a couple of seconds. And then I started. So then when my mom said to me that like my digestion was bad, that she noticed that I had a lot of indigestion, then I said I'll cut out the fruit. And then I noticed that I said, oh, that might help with epilepsy as well, with the cutting out the. And then I noticed that I wasn't getting any, even the small ones. And then I actually started cutting down the meds, and now like I'm on a very low dose, and I haven't had any problems like in over a year now with epilepsy. And like I just started looking, because I started looking into like carnivore influencers and doctors and all, and I came across like Dr. Kiltz and a few others, Sean Baker, etc. And then and then that helped a lot, and I noticed that I had more energy, and I was able to write down in the medication, which is good.
So what caused your seizures?
I think it was a few things. Like I think it could have been like the poor diet. I think that's like a lot of carbs. I think that was one of the main things. Like because I'm big into health, and I knew that like I was trying stuff. Like I heard that like obviously that like I was saying that like I don't know the solution because the doctors don't know really. But I think it like I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the cause of it, but I think it's from the carbs. That was one of the big ones anyway. And I just try to do a lot of healthy practices now. I try to like sleep better and get a lot of fresh air and all. And the diet then just going like carnivore diet. Now I eat just like meat and sometimes eggs and sometimes a bit of cheese. And that's pretty much it. The very odd time I have a piece of dark chocolate here. But besides that, I don't have any other carbohydrates.
You know, I wish we would eliminate the word carbohydrates
Yeah.
and use the word plants, because we don't
Sure.
eat carbohydrates. We eat plants, or we eat animals, or eat seaweed or mushrooms, right? But it's really such a confusion, I think, for all of us. But I think you're right. I mean, when we say the word carbohydrates, we're really meaning plants, whole plants, or plant substances, which tend to be very allergenic, meaning they cause allergies in all of our bodies. That means our bodies react with redness, swelling, heat, pain, dysfunction. An epileptic seizure is essentially an inflammatory reaction happening at the neurologic level that basically is plants are poisonous in many instances, and that may be the biggest problem. When you went to your doctors for epilepsy, did they mention the ketogenic diet as an old treatment for epilepsy?
They didn't even mention it. I mentioned to them before, but they didn't even mention it. Like I know some doctors do mention like the ketogenic diet and all, but my doctors never mention it. Like they said that's not in our practice. Like even though when I mentioned, I said they said, oh, like they're not saying, like they weren't denying that it mightn't work, but they're just saying that that's not what we like not focus on here, but that's not what we give advice on here. That's what they're just like. So but like I mentioned before that it helps when I'm not eating a lot of carbohydrates and all, but like they're just kind of like just pill pushers. Like they're kind of like, they get me, like they wouldn't be like they wouldn't, they're just like, oh, maybe that works, but kind of it's like my job to like give you medication. That's kind of what they're like. Do you get me?
Right. If you go to McDonald's, you get Big Mac fries and a Coke. If you go to your doctor, you get heroin, cocaine, and marijuana, in essence, which is basically it's going to be the anti-epileptics, antihypertensives, the anti-inflammatory agents, anti cholesterol lowering substances, all these things. And you said you're in Dublin.
Yeah.
Does Dublin have different type of human beings that respond differently than America or South America or Africa or any other place in the world?
No, not that I know of.
We're all essentially the same, and the diets around the globe are essentially, as Keto Mike says, as sugar is a stimulant. That's why people think that sugar is for energy, which it is not. But when you consume plant sugars, cane sugars, honey, by the way, is a plant sugar. By the way, the honeys just did the work to collect it. They didn't make it, and plants did, and so plant sugars, when we consume them, have a stimulating effect on our body, but it's not the energy for yourself. This is the biggest misnomer about keto. You flip. You have an ability to flip between burning sugar and burning fat, which is the biggest fat lie of the keto carnivore world. And one day people are going to go like, it's like, why do we get fat? Because the body thinks it's in like survival mode and it's trying to put into your body, it's trying to make the thing you need, which is fat. It's like, is getting fat pathologic or is it biologic?
Yeah, it's like when they say like there's essential fatty acids, there's no essential carbohydrates because you make it in your body like the gluconeogenesis, so you don't need to like get it from the diet.
The hard part about that science is that when you eat a cell of an animal or a plant, it comes with a ton of sugars, a ton of amino acids, and a ton of fats. So the word essential is just like a misnomer anyway. Again, it's look at most science I call scientism. Again, it's like you go to McDonald's, you get Big Mac fries and Coke. If you go to Pup and Taco or Taco Bell, you get tacos, right? You go to the doctor, you get their flavor of what science-ism is. And modern science, we kind of like some of the stuff it does, right? But in general, it's hurting us, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, and like the doctors, they all give you different. Like, it's funny that like some doctors would actually probably say about like you're saying about the ketogenic diet and all, but then other ones are just like, oh, just take this pill or whatever.
Well, right, it's a magic pill, and ultimately in this world today, we say a lot of stuff, but fasting is one of the most amazing things you could do. But I don't know anyone that's had an anaphylactic reaction from a raw ribeye steak.
True. Yeah.
A cow killed and consumed. There may be people who like somehow have some reaction to a piece of meat that was raised, killed, processed, packaged, but ultimately that's not the same as a natural killed raw fresh animal. That I don't know how many animals say, I'm going to hold this and dry age it for a while, right?
Actually, you were. I remember seeing in one of your lives recently. I know you're eating like a lot more raw or rare cooked meats. Is that right?
I have traditionally eaten rare to raw, black and blue, as my primary food source.
Yeah, because actually, when I first kind of transitioned over and started eating only like meat, I was eating like a bit more cooked meat, and now I noticed that I can handle like just like I'm eating a lot of very rare meats and sometimes a bit of raw meat as well. like I usually just like if I was making into burger patties, like minced beef, ground beef, as you say in the US, like I'd leave it raw on the inside and I just cook it a little bit on the outside. Just
And the
sear it.
reason in general, the sear on the outside for meat, again, no animal ground their beef, cook their meat. We obviously are very ingenious in so many ways. When we found the kill by searing the outer layer, killing or reducing the microbes, the inside of the meat in general was free of the microbial overgrowth, which is one of the killers, essentially. Again, the microbes are killers for humans around the globe, but in small amounts where your body is able to handle them. And that's where the fasting and the fat, I don't know if you ever noticed that fat doesn't mold.
True, yeah.
And so our biggest problem is that we lean meat, overcooked meat. When you cook it, you render the fat, which changes and harms the molecular structure. Plants are less toxic when you cook them, ferment them, soak them, or other processes that reduce or remove the toxins. But meat cooked is less healthy, in my opinion, except that you sear the outside. But again, back to minced meat or ground beef, again, that's not a common diet for any other animal.
Yeah, like I eat mincemeat and ground beef sometimes, but like I do eat steaks and all. Like minced beef is like cheaper, and I suppose it's good because it has like the collagenous tissue and all, where like you mightn't get that from if you're just eating just steak, then you wouldn't really get that. So it has benefits, and it's usually cheaper in price. Not that obviously at the end of the day it's your health, so you need to prioritize that, even if it's a bit more expensive. But it works in that sense with the collagenous tissue. But like I suppose you can get plenty of that from like eating like bone marrow and stuff. Yeah.
So, do you have a medical degree?
I did a certificate with I don't know if you know Coach Peter, a carnivore coach Peter.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're a citizen scientist that went off on your own and worked in a community to learn, but you didn't go to an authorized institutional organization that claims you can now practice medicine. Is that true?
True. Yeah. I didn't go to an authorized one. Yeah.
And would you say in general, you're seeing many more improvements in health based on non-standard medical advice over institutionalized medical advice?
Non-standardized. Yeah. I know it's more about
and so why do you do this?
Because like I don't know, just like I see people like when they're eating rubbish, like plants or something, they say, "Oh, I need fiber, or I need carbohydrates," and you see them eating those, and then you're like, "No, that's the wrong thing," and then they have like maybe digestive issues or just different stuff, and like you can become much more healthier than that. Like it's just like, and like I saw like my mom passed away like almost 12 months ago now from MND, motor neuron disease, and like
what is it?
Like I wish like she a motor neuron disease, MND, ALS, a type of ALS. So like, and I think like, or like if she's healthier, that would be one thing. Obviously, there's a number of factors strain. It's not just nutrition, but like health in general. But like, if she had eaten healthier and done stuff like that, might have helped. And I just noticed myself that like just like my digestion's better, the epilepsy's better, and all, and I've more energy. I noticed as well. Like I used to feel tired in the afternoon when I was eating like carbohydrates or plants, and I just noticed that like when you hear about like heavy metals in like rice and a lot of plants in general, and that's not good for epilepsy. Heavy metals aren't good for epilepsy. I used to actually have not to go off point, but like I used to have like mercury amalgam films in my mouth. I got them removed as well because the mercury, And I just think that like when you learn about it and when you then it's like, oh, you kind of want to share it with people, I suppose. Yeah, so like, and that's why you just feel like that, like you notice the benefits kind of, and sometimes like some people mightn't notice as big benefits to begin with. Like sometimes there's a transition phase, but once you notice benefits, then that's why. Yeah.
Your mom passed of a form of ALS, essentially inflammation of the neurologic system, a neurodegenerative disorder, likely secondary to a healthy recommended standard diet for years, just like most of us suffered. And this is our problem. They're Occam's razor is a simple answer to everything. And evolutionarily speaking, the peoples around the world migrated and followed the herds. We hunted, we ate the meat, we used the animal. And in a modern world, we're told that that's the killer. Do you think in some ways that, we go through our standard education from infancy, essentially, which is beat into our brains that plants are good and animals are bad to eat and don't kill or hurt the animals. And it's as if there's a controlling message to control the masses. And that's part of our problem. We listen to the authorities, the experts, and we're waiting for science, even in this keto carnivore world, right? Well, it's you burn sugar, it's your rapid fuel, and then you burn fat. And this is, is a low fat diet healthy for us is the biggest question.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's not. But like, I think like people say, oh, because you burn carbohydrates first, so that means it's your preferred fuel source. But it's only burning carbohydrates before fat is because it's trying to get rid of it. It's like saying alcohol, it burns alcohol, like you use alcohol first, but it's not because your body wants alcohol.
But the mitochondria
Trying to get rid of
doesn't
it.
burn alcohol, nor does it burn sugars. Sugars and alcohol in the liver must be converted to the only safe circulating fuel, which is fat. And so the liver's job is not to detoxify, it's to convert amino acids from proteins, simple sugars from the glycocalyx of all organisms, into very low density lipoprotein, which is our label for basically a floating adipocyte. Basically, do you ever see a human being that's cachectic and sarcopenic, has no fat on their body? They're starving, they're in a concentration camp, or they're dying of cancer, right? Or cirrhosis and bulimia and anorexia. These are all damages and diseases from a modern world of plant protein. And when we use the word protein, what you're saying is essentially lean muscle meat. But in actuality, no animal eats protein. They either eat animal products as food or plant products as food. Science likes to get down to the scientific evidence. It's called propaganda. And ultimately, the human body utilizes acetyl-CoA in the mitochondria that must come from adipose tissue. And that's why a type 1 diabetic in a world without a pharmaceutical company dies, because they cannot make fat. And a cirrhotic dies because they cannot make fat. And all this complicated science, it just drowns me. Because most of what we're talking about here is by tinkerers. Healthier Now, Chris, the tinkerer of a modern world of sickness. And Kiltz, who is certifiable scientist, but that's not where I came with. It's all tinkering, finding that essentially my body was suffering for so many years. Now, March 12th, I'll be 70, and I feel like I'm 10 or 12. And this is the crazy thing for all of us, that we're really, crazy. So what is your primary platform that you're sharing your message?
YouTube is like, I have the longer form videos I put on. It's called Healthier Now. I have Instagram though. That's kind of sometimes post shorter videos on that. It's Healthier Now with Chris at the end. So just my first name, but after Healthier Now.
Are we on Instagram today, Galia?
Yes,
Dr.
we are.
Kiltz?
I have got it up. I've got it up.
All right.
Yeah.
I just saw something that said, yeah, got it. Yeah.
It's
So,
up and
so isn't it, what's your day job? Is this your day job now, or did you have something else that you sort of were doing and you're doing this now?
Yeah, I work in like a bank. Well, it's a credit union. It's kind of like a bank. So that's my day job. That would be, but like, I hope to like, I'm starting the process of like coaching people in nutrition up. So I'm just kind of beginning that process. So
Correct. Money. I mean, obviously, we need money.
Sure.
Although you need fat more than you need money.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. We got George here from England, Great Britain. We got our, to the Irish brothers and sisters. My grandfather, Mackenzie Woods, my father's father, never knew him, either from Ireland or Scotland. We haven't quite figured it out yet, but somewhere up there.
Nice. Lovely.
We're all related all around the globe. That's this amazing
True.
journey that we're on, and ultimately we're migrators, we're hibernators, we're gestators, we're amazing organisms that are. But did most of our great creations as humans come from a scientific journal or from a garage tinkerer?
Garage tinker.
Yeah. Is like, does your education, or I don't know, pedigree, or what is it? I mean, aren't we all the same in this world, gods?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Lewis slept in. He's out. I don't know. Did we let Lewis in because he slept in?
No.
All right. Keto Mike has been really contributing a lot. We love him. He's amazing. Fat loss diets fail. 95%. That was a Weight Watcher and failed for years. Listen, losing weight is a loser's game. You never win, because the human brain is, are you an idiot? Why do you want to lose the most important thing on your body, which is fat and adipose tissue? We have created a culture of fat phobic, when 99.99999% of all the organisms, if they're not fat, they're fertilizer food for other fabulous life forms. It's crazy, right? Same team all around the globe. We are brothers and sisters around the globe, and encourage people to come to a meetup. You doing any meetups in your neck of the woods?
Not that I know of yet.
Okay.
But hopefully in the future, maybe I'll try to organize some. Yeah.
I think we got to do that.
Not too many Irish people doing carnivore.
Got to come out. I mean,
You
again,
got to go to the UK meetup. Find George good enough. Go to the UK meetup in
George.
June.
Oh, yeah, that's not far. That's only an hour flight. Yeah. Good.
We're making movies. That's what we're doing. We're making movies. I think we should start maybe having like a weekly invite anyone and everyone on, like
Sure.
maybe Fridays or something, and bring people all around the globe. What's your mother's name, Chris?
Her first name, Mary.
Mary. My mother, Maria, my father, Ray, my sister, Mary Ann. They're sitting with me every day. They remind me of the suffering and challenges and hardship, but they're our examples to teach all of us. Well, I'm not here to try to take down standard medicine. I'm here to build us all up in a community to make it better. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. Like I think like modern medicine has a place. Like if you're eating a bad diet, then it has a place that like you're talking about type 1 diabetes or something earlier on. Like if you're eating too much sugar, then it has a place to help. But like really what you should do is just change the diet up. Because like chronically elevated sugar is
raw adipose tissue. Raw adipose tissue from a pig, cow, or sheep. That's it. Because when you eat adipose tissue, it goes to lymphatics via chylomicrons, which are basically very tiny adipocytes. And the more we realize that people that are obese are carrying huge amounts of weight, their muscles are strong. And that's really it. Right? This is the craziness, right?
Yeah. Like there's very little nutrition in plants as well. Anyway, like just heavy metals and anti-nutrients, and never mind like pesticides, etc. So, and like even like some of them are high in deuterium and stuff. So yeah, it's like you can't build anything with like plants. I was actually a vegan before at one stage as well, actually, because I thought it was healthy. Because like it's actually like people demonize like fatty meat, cholesterol, and all, and then but they say plants are good, fiber and all. And I was actually talking about with doctors. I went to him recently, and obviously he's looking at me, and I was telling him that I was improving the epilepsy. Like I didn't tell him about cutting down the meds because they don't want to hear that really. But he was saying to me, your cholesterol is high because you got a blood test. He said everything else is perfect. Like your nutrition is perfect. You're getting all the nutrition in. Your thyroid's perfect. Everything, blood pressure perfect. But he said, but your cholesterol is a little bit high. And they're saying, maybe you have to start taking like the statins. And I was like, I didn't say no that I wouldn't take. I just said no, I won't bother. I was just kind of because it felt like the best. Like I know I was getting benefits, so I'm not going to start taking something.
Aren't you worried about dying?
From the high cholesterol.
They tell us you should worry about dying, and it's kind of like, why worry about something God created? God loves us, and it's all energy moving through the universe. We are a massively energetic solar machine, and ultimately we're trained. They train us. You shouldn't be depressed. Here's a pill. You shouldn't be unhappy. Here's a drink, right? Here's some marijuana, right? Marijuana, alcohol, cocaine, heroin. Are these good for us? Deadly. A happy warrior I am. Right.
And like then, yeah.
Go
and
ahead.
then when they look into studies and they say talking about red meat is bad, and then they don't say like there's too many confounding factors when you look into those studies as well. Like it's like maybe the person had marijuana, or alcohol or something as well. Like it's
science is propaganda.
Yeah.
Science,
especially nutrition science.
All science has purposeful propaganda. It's to sell you something, right?
Yeah.
The last I looked, remember, if you look at every drug you take, it has massive side effects, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is the problem. You guys keep on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
What you're saying there to Dr. Kiltz, it's like people look at nutrition science and say, look, the benefits, like fiber makes you live longer, for example. But that's they say fruits and vegetables might make you live longer, but they're not taking into account what else did the person eat. And I know sometimes they control for certain stuff, but they don't control for everything. There's too many confounding factors. It's not proper science. like I feel like when you look into like biochemistry or anthropology, etc., then you can see, oh, like we ate meat, like we've been eating meat for millions of years, predominantly meat. And then when you learn about like all the plant toxins and all, like I saw some study like this, though, like people like Lane Norton, other people, where they look at studies and they say like, oh, fruit. He was talking about, I think it was like Max, Joe Orsti Max, or what's his name, Max Carnivore. He's doing and he's saying like, oh, like fruits and vegetables help you live longer. Dr. Lane Norton was saying, but like he wasn't taking into account that like the time period it was over as well, like because obviously there's transition phase, and then like what else did people eat? Because people might say on the survey, I ate meat,
Right.
but like was that with a burger bun? And then if you get like burger patty in a McDonald's, let's say, or wherever, like it's not 100% meat. Obviously, there's other ingredients. It's not like if you go home and make a burger patty yourself. So there's too many things. So people say, oh, I heard, like obviously there's healthy user bias as well. So people say, oh, I heard that red meat was bad, so I'm not going to mention that. So I heard from mainstream meat, and they're people that would usually do healthy habits anyway. So they might say, oh, I heard that vegetables and fruits are healthy, so I'll eat more of those. But they're also people that sleep well and get plenty of exercise and get fresh air, etc. So yeah, I think that's one of the things when that like science falls short.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about epilepsy? Do you think that increasing the animal fat is what has like reduced the seizures, or getting rid of plants? Since we'll just keep Dr. Kiltz's vocabulary.
Yeah, oh yeah, and said saying carbs. Yeah, true though. Plants, yeah, that's probably a better word, because of obviously there's like omega-6 oils, you know, ones that are like the seed oils, etc. So yeah, oh yeah, I think it's more so got to do with removing yeah, the plants, as Dr. Kiltz would say. Yeah,
You could say
yeah,
carbs.
I think I think it's like but yeah, plants in general, because like maybe the oils, the seed oils, that's a big problem as well, like for health. So I think removing the plants is more so than the fat. But I think you do have to do both. I think if I only remove like I have eaten more fat, so I think it's difficult to pinpoint which it was, but I think both of them, but maybe more so getting rid. Like I think if I was only eating just lean meat, let's say if I was eating like a sirloin steak and just that, and I had no fat, I still think that would heal. So I think it is more so the plants, removing the plants, but it is important to get fat. Yeah, it is important. So I do think that it does play a role. Yeah.
Eat animals, organs, fat. Again, the food we eat is highly processed, including the meat, chicken, fish, turkey, everything. It's processed, and it's devoid of the organ meats, the organ systems, and the adipose tissue. And visceral fat is not the cause of disease, my friends, ever. It's simply trying to protect you for the obvious distress the world is in. And we get fat and we build visceral fat around the gut because it's highly infected. That's all it is. And this is simple, you know, what test, drug, doctor dissection do we really need? None.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dr.
Yeah,
Kiltz,
I don't eat.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I know. Yeah, I don't really eat organs much, because like, you know, like when you look at an animal like a cow or a lamb, like the organ meats are very small compared to the fat and the muscle meat. So I stick mostly to steaks and minced beef and stuff. But yeah, like organs are the most nutrient dense food out there. Like if you're eating liver, like it's got like super high amounts of copper, vitamin A, and all. I do have that the odd time, but like yeah, muscle meat is mostly what I eat. Yeah.
But it should be the fatty meat, because this is our problem. If you think about the size of the gut, right, between the diaphragm and the pelvis, the That contains the fat of the visceral fat. And why would any animal make anything that's harmful for you? It doesn't. It's the microbes and the plants that contain the toxins. That's it. It's like
Yeah.
massively, crazily simple. Simple.
Yeah, you need fat, yeah. Like you need fatty meat, yeah, because like if like obviously you have to choose between carbs, or if you want to say plants, and fat as your fuel source. So you have to choose between, because you can't run on protein for fuel, because there's this thing called like rabbit starvation. Joe Vilmar Stephenson, when he was talking about it, he went a year long with just eating meat, and Carsten Anderson as well, his colleague, and like. So when you eat lean meats like rabbits, like what Dr. Kiltz you were talking about there, when you eat lean meats like rabbits, you're going to run into problems like rabbit starvation, fat starvation. So you need to add either fat or carbs, and which you're going to use. You're going to use fat for the fatty acids and all the essential fatty acids. So
Right.
um, yeah.
And again, it is you either eat animals or plants. All the macronutrients is garbage. This idea that you need this amount of macronutrients or protein is all just scientism. Yeah, again, it's eat fatty meat. Organ meats, I think, are important and good for us, and enjoy the day, right? These are we consume these things to fuel the body. And when we use the word fuel, adipose tissue is the only mitochondrial fuel, period. Because all amino acids and all sugars stimulate insulin. Well, insulin's job is to convert those to fat or VLDL in the liver. That's it. Insulin does not put sugar in a cell. It makes fat. This is the simplest answer. And again, we've made a very complicated story in all of this. When you could just look back at our ancient stories, Stephenson and others that have really gone out there and said, eat the meat, be the master. Simple, coherent, easy, nothing hard. All of our diseases, we have thousands of labeled diseases, but in fact, there's only one cause. We just label them it's kind of like you take your car to the mechanic, he says, well, your brakes are bad, or your ignition's bad, or your gasoline is bad, or carburetor is bad. They're all the same cause. They're all inflammatory conditions of excessive use, heat, friction, or dust and dirt that it damages the systems. That's it.
Yeah, they're basically putting the wrong fuel in the tank.
The wrong food in the tank, which the food in the gut needs to be processed to be fuel. It's not fuel until it's processed. And amino acids and sugars must be processed in the liver via insulin to fat. But when you eat fat, pure raw adipose tissue, you don't require the liver or insulin. That's the magic.
Yeah, because like a lot of people, their insulin is too high and their glucagon is too low, and that's from eating from obviously a lot of the sugar and all. So, and the protein, so you need a balance of the ratio of the insulin to glucagon. And if you're not eating, when you're eating carnivore diet, you're not going to be eating 5 or 6 meals a day. When I was eating a lot of plants, nowadays I only eat 2 meals a day, where I used to eat 4 or 5 times a day when I was eating a lot of plant foods. Yeah.
Well, and again, all this, my challenge is still with all these macros and the ratios and minerals and vitamins and all this other stuff, which is just, it's rubbish. Because if you simply eat the rare to raw fatty meat, and you eat less frequently, you feel healthier than ever.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. 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 I know what you hate the word vitamins and minerals, but like if you're eating like rare cuts of meat, like what you're talking about, like it's been shown that like the vitamin C, for example, is higher. So people are saying, oh, you don't get much vitamin C on a carnivore diet, but like if you have it rare or raw, you keep the vitamin C is very heat liable, so that stays intact. And the same with the B vitamins as well. So like and the taurine, for example, the amino acids, so they all stay kind of like intact if you have the meat very rare or raw as well.
Weston Price is another good one. Someone mentioned that was another one that my brain was almost to, but it didn't get there. And I have to eat 3 meals a day. That is also if you eat more fat, you're getting more fuel. I have to do something is another modern vestige. We're built to hunt for days and fast for days, all of us, men and women. And think about it. Women were either pregnant or breastfeeding in our ancient world. They were not on birth control pills. None of us were going off to the office. We were basically hunting, gathering, sheltering, migrating, reproducing, and protecting. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I feel like he's not like if you're eating too many times a day, you're not nourished, and that's why you have to eat a lot of times a day.
Well,
Like,
but I'm gonna again, because our brain has been so fixated on 3 meals a day, we cannot figure out the right science. But I've gone 15 days no food. I felt great. I do 2 to 3 days every month, 5 to 7 days quarterly, and I eat 1 meal a day at night. I used to have to eat all those meals, but have to is a message of brainwashing. Again, because remember, our addiction to food and sex is so powerful, we will do things that harm us and get us in trouble because the universe doesn't care about you. It cares about your children's children's children. And food and sex are our primal force, even when you do them, because your brain says, if there's food, eat it. Because when there's no food, you better go find it. And so when food is available, your brain is like, eat, 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 my friends, to get fat, because fat is all there is for the minerals, vitamins, and amino acids, simple sugars, and fats in your body. You run off adipose tissue. You do not run off circulating minerals and vitamins and all this other stuff, macros. It's all BS. We're going to measure your numbers and tell you whether or not you got the right numbers. Does that make any sense? Is even our measurement of all your vitamin levels really accurate in anything?
Yeah, it's not. It's like when people talk about like calories, that's not even accurate either. Like because like actually in a lot of countries it's been shown, I actually talked about this in the video, like that like a lot of them are out actually by 20%, the calories in a lot of countries, and like they don't take into account a lot of stuff like the mass in, mass out. They're just looking at the energy in, energy out. So a lot of, when you look at the nutrition labels, it's actually out a lot, and then it doesn't take into account like if it's processed the plant toxins which block the absorption of the nutrition as well. So yeah, it's not accurate at all.
I mean, you go to the Maasai or Hupta and other tribes or the Inuits. I mean, are they carrying around a book and a cookbook? What cookbook do you need for any of this stuff? None.
They just know by how they feel after eating that they're saying like, I'm nourished from the animal fat, like the Inuits, for example.
We know what we've been doing for the last few million years, plus or minus some number that, again, we're making that one up too. We don't really know, right? But we do know that if you eliminate the yik yak of most science and just eat fatty meat 1 meal a day, you feel great. And then you hang out with our brothers and sisters around the globe that talk about all this crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
I why did I read Kiltz? I don't know. Don't read Kiltz, right? Yeah, our this is a good one. We know more than you know, right? Yeah, so ultimately the body that wants to eat food, especially the highly modern food, is not dumb because it wants to get fat. Because it knows something's about to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah. True, yeah. Yeah.
What does Papa have to say?
Oh, this is funny. There's a conversation in the chat between Rick and Rick, the Duck Man, and others.
Yeah. Again, it's all in the eyes of the beholder.
There
right?
you go.
Because we think I need to find something rather than I have what I need, because everything comes to me in the flow. And we've got a great group of people. I'm very blessed to be allowed into this group. They allow Kiltz to show up, and CGMs. I just started wearing a CGM, and when I try to eat less often, I dip below 70. By the way, I go to 45 all day long, and I feel great. Your body, again, all of this scientism says you got to keep your sugars here. It's all BS. There's nobody that dies from hypoglycemia that is not on a drug.
Yeah, because like when they look at those numbers, okay, it's more so about how you feel instead of looking at blood test numbers and different numbers. It's usually more about how you feel. And so,
right, but your brain wants you to feel hungry in a world of food, because the world you came from did not have palatable food right in front of you all the time, did it? So now this palatable food, your brain says, "Oh, I'm hypoglycemic. I must be low on sugar. Let me eat food." That's just your brain putting you in the right position. Food. We think too much. Think less, do more. Be who and what you are, a lion, not a sheep. Which is very, very radical.
Even sheep, though, they actually eat a high fat diet as well, because like they convert it in their, like sheep's, all those ruminant animals, cows and all, because they convert it in their ruminants, in their complex, like in their multi-chamber stomach, they convert it into fat. So they actually eat a high fat diet as well, in a sense. Even though they might eat like a plant foods, they actually, most animals actually eat like lots of fat. Technically, to break it down into short chain fatty acids.
They make fat. The liver and insulin makes fat. That's what happens. That's why a diabetic dog or cat dies without insulin, because and a cow and a sheep would die too. Their liver makes fat, not the microbes. That is another, I call it a scientism, right? The butyric acid, right? But the microbes fermenting in the gut make methane and alcohol also. Smoking a cigarette gets you oxygen, doesn't it? We've made a science of an ism that, oh, you need the microbes. Well, a ruminant animal dies if it eats fat, because the fat suppresses the microbes, which are the fermenters, which break down the complex sugars into simple sugars. It's all it is. There is a simplicity, right? This is the craziness, right?
I'm going to do the giveaway.
Yeah, let's do the giveaway. I'm finishing packing here for my
Okay.
Uber drivers picking me up.
You're multitasking, Dr. Kiltz. Oh, how funny,
Well,
George.
we're all doing it
George.
together.
George
That's
keeps winning. Good job, George. We'll have a whole box for you in June.
Yeah, George win.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it to him.
And
The UK meetup.
everyone is a winner here, by the way.
Oh yeah, everyone's a winner. Just for showing up.
Everyone's a winner because we're here alive and we're gonna die. When and how, no idea. Don't care. And we're inspired by your mom, my brothers and sisters, all of our brothers and sisters around the world that are suffering. Even some of the crazy comments here, people. We appreciate everyone. And ultimately, I mean, this reproduction is damaged in this world due to a damaging plant-based low animal fat diet. No curves, no babies. Fat is where it's at. Fat on your body never causes disease, ever. It's the low-fat diet, which is the most deadly thing, and eating 3 to 6 times a day, always. It may be in a small window, you're really packing it in, but it's to get fat. Because your brain knows we are not that smart. That's why we go to Sin City. But you can't stop it. Rick and Papa and we'll all visit Max in Vegas.
This is a fun conversation in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think Michaela Peterson has a dating group. We should have a dating group too. All those men and women that want to find a partner.
We have to go find it in our group.
In our tribe. Let's have a tribal dating meetup, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what this is all about. It's bringing people together, but there's only one thing that matters. Only one thing that matters. That's it. Making babies.
Yep.
All
All right, Dr.
radical, right?
Yeah. Humanity continues.
What's that?
I said humanity continues.
Right.
What we can. This is all entertainment, by the way. We can. This is strictly fun zone work, but it is, meeting Mike and Rick and Papa and Mitch and all of our brothers and sisters. That's it. All right, I gotta catch my Uber to the airport.
Okay.
Tomorrow in Charleston. Chris, look forward to meeting you somewhere in the world and keep doing what you're doing. Very important. Thank you, everyone.
Talk soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.